Hey everybody, Brother Kenneth here for the Art of the Deals. Going to talk about something that probably could be included in just about the end of every video. When you learn about a phenomenon, the big question is how do I get rid of it? Whether it's breaking a curse, or you've got some payback upon you for helping out somebody who seems to be very heavily demonically vexated, oppressed. We're going to give you a list without giving you a practical detail of which one to do first and what it for, except maybe just briefly in some instances. But when you use the sacramentals, first off, starting with the sacramentals, you're actually using some physical representation. We're physical beings in this world, so we're not limited to prayer. But for the most part, we're here as physical. So for the priest bless the holy water, even if it's used by another denomination, they still are taking part of the Catholic Church with them. And that same thing is true for oil and salt and crucifixes to some degree. Benedict crucifixes even better yet. But everything they use, they're actually taking a part of the church with them. Let's say you have to deal with somebody in your family or whatever. Of course, there's like controversy about stepping out of your hierarchy. With God's permissible will, which we don't know, you pray and you do what you have to do. But you don't plan and I'm his older sister, so I should be able to do the deliverance on him. No, it doesn't work that way. We'll talk about that kind of stuff in another thing to add to what some of the priests have been telling people. That you have to realize that this is one of those things you're supposed to go to the priest. We're not supposed to bypass priests. Even we aren't bypass. But we had to do minor rites and stuff, and we had to. We just can't leave them there. So it's like if you're an EMT and you're at a party and someone starts to have a heart attack, what are you going to do? Say, I'm not a doctor, I'm off duty? So there is a priest there when you're using these sacraments. To some degree, he's used his priestly, I don't know what you call powers. That'd be something Vince Lamp would probably laugh about, the magic powers thing. That through their ordination they have these certain priestly gifts, and one of them is blessing objects. And they say a prayer, exercise, and bless is what we always say get done. Get everything exercised and blessed. The frankincense and myrrh, get the candles done, get the holy oil, get the holy water, get the salt, exercised and blessed. Get everything. And to use a special prayer for Saint Benedict and the Blessed Mother prayer. They tell you for the Saint Benedict, it's better when a Benedictine priest, monk, a Benedictine does it. And I don't think these things would be specified unless they did make a difference, such as blessing the water versus exercising the water. When you exercise the water as a priest, you're actually taking the bucket that has rust in it and you're removing the rust before you put on a clear coat when they actually bless it. In addition to that, it's removing the impurities that are spiritually there from the item that's not, that's of this world. And this world has everything's infested with impurities. When you get a cut, your wound gets infected with impurities right away, or if you don't touch it, it's in the air. So we have that kind of same thing going on there. That even if you don't understand it, it is there. That's the church believes is going on, even if your priest doesn't understand it. Or it's not in the Summa Theologica. I don't know. But it's a fact, and this is one of the reasons why they like the elements of that are pure, beeswax and virgin olive oil, not extra virgin. And get the virgin olive oil, the stuff that's 100%. Don't get the cheap stuff. They'll actually mix canola oil and stuff. And get distilled water so you don't get it out of your tap, because there's enough impurities that can be in something to begin with. And don't get the other one because they add supposed minerals for taste. It's not as pure. So distilled water. Just get a gallon of it or whatever. But it's exercise because it's removing the spiritual impurities of it first. It's basically preparing it to be blessed. Like I said, you got a bucket, you take out the rust, and then you spray over the new and nice coat of paint over there. It's prepping it and making it worthy of this, the blessing basically. And it does make a difference. We've actually taken blessed water by mistake one time to place, and I was like, why isn't this working? So you go back and you bring the exercise water and you notice a difference. I'm not going to mention what case, because sometimes I can't on the fly go, oh, maybe I shouldn't mention it. There's a diocese case with a person, as well too. The priests have noticed this with exorcisms and so forth, just like it is when I said about this Gabriel Morth, when he brought the jug to possession in a third world country. There's no running water, so he had to take a picnic jug, Problem is, it had lemonade in it. He blessed it. He started using it, and the demon basically, he forced to tell him why this holy water is not working. Because it's impure, the demon said. And it's got sugar, and it's got flavoring, artificial coloring. Who knows what else in there. And they brought it to the site from, where the nearest parish was or whatever, which is, I think, several miles off. And this exorcism needed to be done, not rather, later. Okay, so that is important to note. And Latin is a sacramental language. But Latin works, it does work better, minor or major rite, Leo XIII prayer, whatever, that it is better spoken in language. And people ask that, like, why? Well, I just said, because it is a sacramental language of the church. It is the language of the church. But there's not a lot of people who really know that. The other thing is, of course, the intercession of the angels and saints. It doesn't matter what denomination you can still call upon them. And the idea is to build the army. Okay, so in addition to that, specific prayers, and this is what some people don't get, specific prayers do make a difference. There was years and years and years. Everything's got to be in the right place. So there's a reason for the structures of prayers, and I know for a fact that if you just stand there and you just do the prayer, be gone, or something like Larson or one of those guys does, this is not going to work. Now, I realize that you might spend 15 minutes saying, in the name of Jesus Christ, by his precious blood, I rebuke you, I bind you, evil and unclean spirits, and they'll be gone in 20 minutes. I guess the circumstances vary or something. We've had that experience when we got having to do an exorcism on site right then and now. We did the litany of the saints. We call our arms together. But when they get violent, you got to get it to calm down, because they start to break stuff. They throw people off. It's just like the movies sometimes. So you don't sit there and go, now let's read from page 7-4. Everybody turn to there. The Psalms. Okay. Hear us not, O Lord. You don't have time for that. You got to hammer with everything you got. Okay, everybody, I think that will wrap this up for now. But the fact is that most people, God helps those who help themselves, but getting them the right solutions, pointing them to the right things to keep it off after it's been taken off, or they've been kicked out or whatever, all that stuff makes a big difference. Okay, everybody, God bless, and we'll see you next time on The Art of the Deals, or rather, you'll see me. 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 Rather, you'll see me.